Great. I am here with Genevieve Castonguay with ShopLiftr. This story behind that, I really want to hear, Genevieve. It's great to see you. Thank you very much for joining at the Commerce Rewired booth. Artifacts and everything that we brought here to
Do.
eTail.
I love the marketing as VP of marketing. This is great. Good
Are
job.
we doing an
Very,
okay job?
very
I
consistent.
do want you, we value your opinion here.
Absolutely. Just
Commerce
as I
Rewired.
value yours as well, David. And you can
So
call me
Jen,
Jen. I think we're on friendship basis now.
yeah, here's eTail, you get that.
You,
We build relationships here.
truthfully, yeah.
That's what eTail is for me. It's like, well, this is the place where we hang out with our buddies once a year, 6 months in this case.
This is
Yeah.
true. Yeah. And just to go back to your first question, shoplifter. So a lot of people, because they don't know what we do potentially, they say, oh, are you going to steal my pen? And I say the name is clever because we lift in-store sales. So we shop Lift.
Play on
Yeah. So
words.
we are the offsite performance engine for brands and retailers. So what that really means is anywhere offsite from the retailer's owned media. So whether, they have their own networks, whether or even, a website or any media that they're doing in-house, we are the offsite engine that can help drive promotions and connect the dots truthfully for the promotions that they have to the shoppers and get more in-store traffic.
Nope.
But how do we do that? Because I mean, everyone wants the same thing and
There's
everyone's
got to be
saying
some
that.
magic within this.
There really
You know?
is. And I know everyone's like, well, you just, sell media. No. So we have the largest active trade promotion database in North America. So what that means is we aggregate deals from the top 300 US retailers and the top 50 in Canada. And we have over 200,000 monthly deals refreshed weekly. We can activate those by programmatic display, video, and digital out-of-home ads. So in real time, live trade promotions. And then we connect the dots by putting the retailer address and geo-target the consumer down to their device. So how this really works I'll talk about the brand side first, is a lot of brands are limited within the walled gardens of a lot of networks. And that's understandable. And they have to pay to play. And that's completely fine. We are not adversarial to retail media networks or retailer networks. We complement them by providing the offsite channel anywhere that they need to activate from a retailer agnostic point of view. So for a brand, if they're in 12 different retail locations, we're able to connect those dots in those trade promotions. Now, from a retailer perspective, if you don't have the infrastructure or you're a smaller Canadian retailer and you're doing a lot of great on-site stuff and you're connecting those dots, but off-site, how are you driving people to your loyalty program? How are you getting them in the stores? That's the activation layer that we can do. And we can ingest your promotions, your in-store deals, and disseminate them out to the masses. So,
Yeah, I love this. So,
yeah.
so catch me up because I'm a little bit slow.
All right.
Give me a use case. Like, kind of walk me
Sure.
through, like, hey, it doesn't have to be a real one. We can be
Yeah.
creative and feel free to invent. But
Okay,
like, where
absolutely.
does Shoplifter kind of come into a retail experience, right?
Yeah, let's talk like from a retailer perspective. I know I'm talking a lot about brands because that was our bread and butter, pun intended. We did work in the grocery retail space, and that's kind of where, for weekly cadence of promotions, that's where the big play has always been. But for retailers, since we're at eTail, let's just talk about a use case for that. If you're a smaller retail, let's say you have 20 locations that span across Canada. Every individual market is going to have different needs as to what the promotions are that you want to get out front of the consumers. So we were talking to Thomas at Snuggle Bus. He only has 7 locations, but he has one in Vancouver. He has one in Toronto. The market demographic, the cadence is all different. So by putting this in our database, which is really the unique selling point here with Shoplifter, is we can get in real time any type of versioning across, could be thousands of retail locations, or it could be as few as 7, and get that to the consumer to connect the dots for that hyper local at scale. And again, it's programmatic. So anywhere a video, display, or digital out of home connects, we can seamlessly do all 3. So a person can be scrolling on their phone, see an ad that is connected to a location near them with products that they want to move off shelf for the retailer. They can go down the street and see it on a digital out of home display, same ad frequency increases. So that's just one use case for Canadian retail.
That's awesome. So is it all digital placement then, or are you able to inform kind of out of home and stuff as well? Because it sounds like you're
so that's actually, great question. Sorry, cut you off. We are DSP agnostic as well, which means that we have lots of partners that we can work with. So we're not bound to just place media within our own confines. We work with many different partners for the client client's needs. So if you want, I'll give you an example. I can't name names, but there's one client that we have that wants to monopolize all of Vancouver Island for an entire week for their product. So they are going to pay a premium for that, but they essentially want to take over all digital home screens.
Yeah.
And we are able to do that through the partnerships that we have. And so we can help place the media. We are the engine that has the database. We can do that, in a powerful way, hyperlocal at scale, and not be bound to say, well, we only have this partner to work with. It really does kind of open up the channels for retailers that are looking to do something a little bit different. But the message, honestly, I know I'm talking a lot here, but the message at the end of the day is getting more shoppers to get into your stores. And I know we're online as well, but into your stores, because brick and mortar is still alive. Is it on sale? It might not be the same. So the live trade promotion data, that's the differentiator.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm really keened up
Okay.
because you mentioned Vancouver. I would love
Yeah.
to take over Vancouver
All right.
myself.
Yeah.
I've dreamed about that. So I want a
Okay.
place there.
There you go.
Naturally, that's a wonderful place. So how deep is the data set in terms of understanding demographics, psychographics? No trade secrets here, Jen. That's not what I'm asking
No,
for.
it's
But
fine.
if I wanted to, maybe segment a database or reach a certain audience that maybe had an income level, an ethnicity, a lifestyle, some kind of habits or anything, how deep can you go?
So we are the ad tech solution. So what I was saying before with the DSP agnostic is we work with partners who have that data set. So
Okay.
we can work, I was going to name people, but I shouldn't do that. So they have the rich data. If you want something, we can go get it for you, essentially. So if you're like, I need to get granular on this specific, 35-year-old mom with 2 kids has this income, she works out here, we can get that deep with it. Our data that comes into play that's proprietary is we know what's on promotion everywhere within your competitors. And we can also do kind of a breakdown prior to having a campaign with you to say, this is the cadence that they're doing. This is your category. This is what they're doing. Are you doing? So give you a little bit of competitive intel without giving away the bank. But this is all live trade promotion information that is public. So there's enough, but we're able to consolidate it and give you perspective on your category, on your brand, on your retail locations.
And then go shop lift.
For sure.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I should say that because everything is about closing the loop here. So we
Yeah.
also provide true incrementality lifts. So no vanity metrics. I mean, it's all, clicks and impressions, which still matter, but we can close the loop with real incremental sales lift and foot traffic studies. And so I think that is a key part that is missing in Canadian retail. We now have partners who can do that in Canada, whereas largely it's been in the US.
Would you say that you're heavy on the acquisition side or heavy on the retention side? Like,
Yeah.
what pain am I feeling when I call ShopLiftr?
You know what? Our retention, our client base is very strong, year after year, but we are actively all the time seeking out new partners in different verticals. So I think I said at the beginning of this, CPG and grocery has been our bread and butter because that's where the need was. But we're exploring different verticals. I'm going to give you an example, pets. The amount of SKUs in pet, the amount of store locations in pet, it's prime for what we do. And so we're looking to onboard, we've done retail, we've done DIY, we've done furniture, and pet's kind of one that we're actively seeking because we see the same utility. So acquisition is definitely top of mind right now, but our clients, they love what we do. They see the results and
Yeah.
they're not inflated. It's not a platform dashboard metric. It is an incrementality lift, and that's what people need.
Nice. What are the metrics that you provide for me?
Yeah.
So how would I measure success with Bob's?
Well, first of all, we would ask you first, what are your measurements of success? But I think it really would boil down to, what you're looking for at the end of the day. But I think the two that are, in Canada that are lesser so applied to lots of campaigns are sales lift studies. How did this specific campaign create incremental sales lift on these products?
Okay.
And, we have results in Canada for brands that saw 8% on their hero SKUs. They're already a phenomenal product. And then, a 13-week campaign, an 8% lift is substantial. It's, incremental sales of 1.7 million, so that is true. And then for retail, retailers having the incrementality of, the foot traffic reports, where it's not just, okay, foot traffic can really be, if it's not an incremental lift, how do you attribute it back? But we can follow them along their devices and we can see where they're going and then if they bought and tying, closing the loop, really. So,
Yeah. So per your brand name, it really comes down to lift. So
absolutely.
if we're going to
Yeah,
measure
you
success,
said it better than me.
right? Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. What's shifting? You're a marketer. What is shifting in the ecosystem right now? So because you're out there selling a SaaS product to
Right.
people, what do you see? What are the demands coming from the client side that are evolving?
I mean, I'm sure everyone you're talking to is saying the same thing, but there's a lot of, AI has been the, hot button topic for the last 3 years, I would say. More so like before then, but now it's like every panel is how are you integrating AI? So we have like AI browser language detection so we can change the ad automatically based on like the user's preferred like language.
Right.
But for us, when they ask us that question, we say, what does that matter for you? So we're seeing, this being used AI as an esoterical kind of, thing.
Yeah.
But in our business, if we are still connecting the dot between shopper and retailer or shopper and brand, and we're using, dialing into your target market and we're geo targeting, then like, isn't that the goal? So what I'm noticing is that a lot of people are just using the buzzwords and not applying them in a way that is tangible and looking potentially for vendors that say they're AI friendly, but don't actually prove it. I would much rather work with somebody who can show incremental lift and who can show how they're using AI in a way that actually makes sense for it to move the needle. So I guess that's what I'm saying. The AI conversation is very oversaturated, but it's not really proving a whole lot unless they're using it in a real way that matters for their business.
It's marketing speak, not truth, right?
That's it.
You could tour in the same booths that you went to last year, but everybody's agentic AI this year.
Yeah,
Explain to
absolutely.
me how. What have you done? What has changed,
That's
right?
it. And how are you using that? So I guess like, from a marketing lens, that's what I'm just noticing. And I'm like, but I'm not going to shift our brand positioning and our core messaging just to fit this mold. I'm going to speak what we do in our vendors because it is valuable to the market. And we don't need to have buzzwords. We just need proof.
Great. Good for
Yeah.
you because we are
Thank you.
getting tired, right?
Yeah.
Tired of sold things. Like, I don't even understand how that works or if I
No.
need it.
Right.
And the potential for things to go wrong when I just have so many independent AI products
Right.
working for me, but they don't play together, right? We've created a very complex ecosystem.
Great.
Do you build the creative then? You
Yes,
said,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
okay.
We have
So
in-house creative, so we can do full managed service. I mean, if you are coming in and you're like, help us with this, we can do all the creative in-house. We have an excellent lever with video called the L bar. I'll just quickly touch on it, but
Mhm.
basically it's putting
Is it
brand.
AI?
No, no, it's putting
Oh, amazing.
brand storytelling. Say you have a 15-second commercial, generic, but like really tugs the heartstrings. But you also want to connect the lower funnel, the promotions. We have an L bar video that has a band on it that shows the cycles through the products on sale at that retailer while showing the brand video. So you're kind of achieving a full funnel conversion within a 15-second, CTV activation. So I'm just, that is a way of trying to accomplish a lot for smaller retailers or smaller brands who are like trade and national. They don't have to be exist in different ecosystems. We can bridge them together. We can make your dollars work harder, and we can do it in a way that is feasible wherever you live. So,
Oh, you guys got some cool factories.
thank
But
you.
telling people it's like I don't want to sit through some more software demos, but I
Yeah.
actually do want to sit through this. So
Okay,
I'd love
great.
to see Shoplifter in action. Thank you so much for
Of
coming
course.
to the
Thank
booth
you,
and
David.
committing your time, Jen. It was great to speak with you.
Awesome. And looking forward to meeting some of you out there.
See ya.